Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls basketball fans of all ages, welcome to the campus of Abington High School for tonight's season opening matchup between the Carver Crusaders and your Abington Green Wave. I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside tonight by my broadcast partner, the one, the only, Joe Beaver. Joe, we're starting the season off. We'll get to the COVID restrictions a little bit later and the changes to the rules. But let's start with the big story. Matt McGuire of the Abington Green Wave, 51 points away from 1,000 for his high school career.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see that. Not a lot of students get to reach that 1,000-point mark, so see what happens tonight.
Well, here's one of the COVID changes right now. Instead of tip-offs, we see an inbound pass for the visitors. The Carver Crusaders wearing their visiting maroon jerseys, white trim around the gray numbers and lettering. The Green Wave in their home white jerseys, green trim around the white numbers and lettering. A whistle and a stoppage right off the bat. 9 seconds in, and we have determined that the teams are going the wrong direction. So we're going to start the game over. 8 minutes on the clock. You can see all players wearing masks. You might notice that the benches are not what you would typically see with everybody crowded on top of each other. The seats are 6 feet apart in all directions, and the visitors are on the opposing sideline. Of course, no fans.
It's weird to see that there's no tip-offs. It's an interesting rule, but I think it's a good one to add. But I wonder, they're going to touch the ball anyways, so I'm not sure what getting rid of the tip-off does for stopping the spread of COVID. But
well, here's another one of those many changes. Derek Nuttall at the foul line for 2 shots. You cannot have players along the paint for any non-rebound opportunity shot. And when the players do come in, as you can see, there are only 4 of them instead of the typical 6. Meanwhile, Derek Nuttall good on his first attempt, and he is a perfect 2 for 2. Abington draws first blood. They lead 2-0. 4 returning starters from last team's co-champions, Joe. Those would be Derek Nuttall, Matt McGuire, Tommy Finera, and Antoine Graham Jr. 10 players overall returning to the Green Wave team. Looking to, there's no postseason, but looking to take the South Shore League tournament at the end of the season.
yeah, I can already tell they're very aggressive coming out. On defense already, forcing a lot of rushed passes, and it's looking good.
Antoine Graham with it to the corner for Finera. Finera over to number 5, Matty McGuire. 51 points away from 1,000. Gives to corners McGuire. Handing off to Finera. To Nuttall down low. Bad angle, but hits the rim, gives it a shot. Offensive rebound. Finera pump fake. Gives it to Antoine Graham. His floater no good. Nuttall with the height. Hits it out to Finera. McGuire's 3 is good. Green Wave up 5-0, a minute and a half into this game.
And that shot brought him one step closer to reaching 1,000 points.
48 points away now for Matt McGuire. A long 2, no good. McGuire comes down with the rebound all the way up, looking for Graham on the fast break. Instead, the pass is intercepted by the Crusaders. And we head back the other way, 2 minutes into quarter number 1. Halftime is eliminated, and the quarter breaks and timeouts 1 minute and 15 seconds. Graham to the corner for McGuire. 3 off the rim and out. Carver comes away with the rebound. 23, Shea Grimes, the senior captain. Over to Broden Benton. Green Wave's stifling defense. Graham is trying to get in the way of any and all passes, and eventually the Green Wave come away with it. Here's Finara. Tries to force it down low, but a foul is called in the paint. Finara earns the push. And it's going to be an inbounding foul, so the Green Wave will inbound from the 8-foot mark. Substitutions are a little bit different. As you could imagine, only one player is allowed at the center table. Anyone else has to stand at their 6 feet apart seats, and everybody has to stop by the center table on and off the court to sanitize anytime they enter or exit the game.
It's interesting to see there's no fans here tonight. I wonder if that changes the players' energy or the flow of the game at all. Not having fans to cheer them on.
Well, we did cover the green versus white practice scrimmage, and one of the messages was, we got to find a way to add energy into the game. Matt McGuire flying into the paint, whether it's yelling, clapping, standing up and dancing in front of your seats. All of these were suggestions by head coach Peter Serino. Carver yet to get on the board, 5-0 for the Green Wave, 4:41 left, and as we say that, the Crusaders lay it up and in. That is Shea Grimes. Owen Kibbe, meanwhile, the senior co-captain, 6'4", the tallest member of the Crusaders. Tommy Finara has some deep range. We'll see if he flexes it here. Works his way in and out. Pump fakes for the long two. Gives it to McGuire. Matty McGuire's three off the front of the rim. Loose rebound is picked up by the Crusaders. I believe that is Owen Kibbe. That is Charlie Condon, the sophomore, who stands at 5'10". Halfway through quarter number one. Long two is good for Kibbe. And just like that, the Crusaders find themselves back within a point.
There's a lot of good shots by both teams, and it's really just who can land them.
Nuttall set the pick for Finara. His layup had a little bit too much on it. Number 33, Mike Van Luling, the junior, comes away with that loose ball. And spinning, laying it up.
Seems like Green Wave's dominating the boards this game.
Andrew McCluskey with that layup. Curtis Lucas Summers getting ready to come into the game for the Green Wave. A foul called on the shot. Charlie Condon is going to be at the line for 2 shots. Looks like Antoine Grimm Jr. is going to re-enter the game. Yeah, Derek Nuttall gets his first break, as does Mike Van Luling. Well, the last time, Joe, we saw the Green Wave on the court, it was at the TD Garden of all places, and Matt McGuire put on an offensive show, as Abington at that point thought they were going to the state championship game in Worcester. Instead, after defeating Snowden High School, they ultimately found out 2 days after that game that they would indeed not be going to Worcester, and that life as we know it was about to change.
Yeah.
A 3, no good off the back of the rim and out. Offensive board for Owen Kibbe. And an offensive foul charged to Kibbe. And the foul is a charge.
That's a really good defensive play by, I believe that was Antoine. Great job drawing the charge there.
Antoine Graham has it for the Green Wave. Tommy Finara Graham to McGuire, deep three is good. Matt McGuire puts the Green Wave up for 10-6 with 2:15 left in the first quarter. McGuire, as we have seen throughout his career, has very deep range, Joey. Hit that one from about 3 feet beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, it seems like his height allows him to shoot over whoever's defending him. They really can't get much of a contest on the shot.
McGuire, meanwhile, called for the push on the other end of the floor. Carver with the inbound pass. Gets it into Shea Grimes, the senior captain. Long two. Graham pushed while attempting to get the rebound, finds McGuire. McGuire rushing the paint, lays it up a little bit too strong. Carver comes away with it, is the 6'4" Owen Kibbe. About 30 left in the first quarter. Kibbe, a two from just inside the charity stripe is good. 10-8 for the Green Wave. Fanera to McGuire, a three. In and out. Matt McGuire, 45 points away from 1,000, but who's counting? Joking around before the game, I said he has to have a James Harden-esque performance tonight if he wants to hit it here in the season opener. Widely expected to get it tomorrow at home against the East Bridgewater Vikings. A pass from Curtis Lucas Summers, no Green Wave member, was in the area. Under a minute to go now, 40 seconds. And period number one.
Great defense by the Green Wave.
Turnover call. 34.8 is a 4.8 difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Tommy Fanera will bring it up for Abington. Long three from McGuire. Bang! Matty McGuire with 42 points away from 1,000. And 9 on the night for the senior co-captain for the Green Wave. And a block for Tommy Fanera. The defense, Joe, has come alive. .1 on the clock. The last second substitution, Mike Van Wooling, comes in for Matty McGuire. Meanwhile, Kevin Giannetti will inbound for the Crusaders. Not a lot of room. Forces it into Matt Mullins. Over to the top with 3 on the clock. Shea Grimes takes the 3, no good. The buzzer sounds in the first quarter of the 2021 season has come to an end. 13-8 for the Green Wave over the Carver Crusaders. Joe, what'd you think?
I think Green Wave is very defensive and very aggressive on the boards too, and I think that's what made the difference in this first quarter.
Meanwhile, Matt McGuire with 9 of Abington's 13 points. No big surprise, he's been the top scorer for a few years now. What's going through his mind, Joe? Do you think he's focused on the 1,000, or do you think he's just focused on having a good performance?
I think he's just looking to score, you know. I don't think he's worried about the number too much. I think he knows he'll get there eventually. And I don't think he's too worried about, you know, going out there trying to force himself to take shots and things like that. I think he's just looking to score when he can and just reach the 1,000, let it come to him.
Well, as we mentioned, this is a very interesting looking setup of the gym. Of course, no fans allowed, no parents. We have a lot of folks viewing live on YouTube. But atmosphere definitely, as we saw in the performance, Joe, at the TD Garden in March, the fans definitely make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. But I've noticed that the benches, they're celebrating, they're hyping their team up and stuff. So I think they're doing a good job making up for it. Still, though, they won't have what they usually have with the fans, but doing pretty good.
The quarter breaks and timeouts are very different from normal, of course. Only the 5 players that are on the floor are allowed in the quarter break and timeout huddles. The huddles themselves are held in opposite corners of the court, and everybody must be standing 6 feet apart.
That's a very interesting rule. I'm wondering, so if they make line changes, what happens then? Do they bring them in to swap them out for the people that are in the huddle during quarterly breaks?
So you have to check in before the huddle starts, and then you replace whoever you're replacing.
I imagine that makes it very difficult for coaches to, communicate to the team and keep them all on the same page.
Music was a conversation, whether the Green Wave wanted to have music in between with the timeouts and the quarter breaks. Ultimately, I think it was decided that it would just be too much for any of the coaches to try to get a message across yelling over music.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that decision. It seems like it's pretty difficult enough with the COVID rules, so it makes sense to not have music.
Antoine Graham with it as quarter number 2 gets underway. He's on the court along with Matt McGuire, Tommy Finera. McGuire down low. Tries to force the layup, and it's good. Matt McGuire, the first Green Wave to double digits. He's got 11 of the Green Wave 15. And ruling. Defense now as the Green Wave are man-on-man defense here. Owen Kibbe forces his way in. His layup comes up short, gets his own rebound from sheer height. And the putback attempt is good. Finera fouled on his way in. He'll be at the line for 2 shots. Tommy Finera, the junior co-captain. No slouch from beyond the arc himself. He's got a lot of deep range that we saw flashes of last year, and he's taken a couple of shots so far in this game. McCluskey and McGuire go in for the rebound attempt. They join Matt Mullins and Owen Kibbe of the Crusaders. Finera 1 of 2, 16 to 10, the Green Wave on top. Shea Grimes, the co-captain. 1-2, no good offensive support from Zach Geronimo. His shot is good. Graham over to Finera. Finera pump fakes, gives it to McGuire. He takes the long 3. It comes off the front of the rim. No good. As we saw in the Green Waves last game against Snowden at the Garden, McGuire's not afraid to let him rip.
Absolutely. And I've been noticing that the defense for Abington's been a lot more aggressive, like hands up whenever, like at all times, and they're extremely aggressive to the ball, which I think that's making a huge difference right now for Abington.
Saw them practicing a couple strategies in the green versus white scrimmage. Not a lot of emphasis on the full court press, but I would say the man versus zone approach was about 50-50 split. These two teams, height-wise, very evenly matched, especially with the two starters, Matt Mullins and Owen Kibbe, 6'3" and 6'4", respectively. Mullins only a freshman. Offensive board for Kibbe. McGuire comes down with his missed shot. McGuire hands off to Antoine Graham, now to Finera, top of the key. working his way in. Now takes a three, is slightly off the mark. The rebound to Zach Geronimo, the junior 5'11" guard.
Green Wave's really utilizing the screens that they have, using some of their taller players to help some other players get open on the offensive end.
Travel called on Charlie Condon down low. The shot does not count, and the Green Wave take over. Now in for McGuire. McGuire spinning. The hook shot is good. (18-12). Matt McGuire leading the way for the Green Wave. Another turnover forced by the stifling defense of the Green Wave. McCluskey in the paint. A lot of contact, no call. Gibby comes away with the loose ball. Gives off to Shea Grimes. Green Wave force another turnover on the defensive end. Mike Van Luling to Green. Back to Van Luling. Wide open three. Off the mark. The rebound to the freshman Mullins. We mentioned a very experienced team here for Abington as the three off the glass and in for Owen Kibbe. All juniors and seniors on this team, Joe. No underclassmen. And 10 of the 13 players returning from last year. No good on his first free throw attempt. Carver's going to take a timeout. We'll notice a little bit of the dynamic as we see the two teams head to the respective corners.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that. I didn't think that would be a rule, but it's kind of the same thing we saw with soccer, where both teams would go to far end of the field and then they'd spread out. And then they'd get their water, and the coach would talk to them. And I can't imagine how difficult it is for a coach to try to make sure everybody is getting the information that they need to, win the game.
And meanwhile, you'll notice there are two halves to the bench, 6 players on each side of the bench. Only one assistant coach by rule is allowed on each, we'll call it a half, of the bench, and the head coach is allowed to roam wherever. So that's a little bit of a communication issue as well. The offensive assistant is stuck on one side of the bench, the defensive is stuck on the other, and the head coach is kind of the middleman.
Yeah, and then I feel like that brings the importance of what side, what team's defending on and what side the team's shooting on. Because, if the defensive coach can't be on the same side as the side they're defending on, it's going to make it harder to communicate things.
McCluskey for his second free throw attempt. In and out, uncontested rebound to the big man for the Crusaders, Owen Kibbe. 18-15, a one-possession game. Carver trying to stay close. The ball moving outside the perimeter as Carver tries to get it towards the paint. A three is no good. And the rebound is brought down by Matt McGuire.
Really good ball movement by both teams here.
McGuire, deep three. Bang for Matt McGuire. 21-15, halfway through the second quarter. Matt McGuire is starting the season, Joe, on fire. Jordan Benting. Benting thought about the three, instead forces it down low. Now to the top for Shea Grimes. Good ball movement for the Crusaders. And wild layup is good. Count it and one for the co-captain, Owen Kibbe. No good. McGuire comes down with the rebound. Forces it down low. Good bounce pass. A lot of range on it. And the shot is good for Andrew McCluskey, senior member of the Green Wave. Benting down low. Too much on the layup attempt. Summers to Antoine Graham. Graham hard across for McGuire. Now to the corner for Finera. Finera's short floater is really good. Gets his own rebound. Gets it out to McCluskey to the corner for Summers. Working baseline. Tried to force it in for McCluskey. The Crusaders take over. Shea Grimes all the way and lays it up and in 23-19, 2.5. A breakneck pace here in the second quarter.
It was really good footwork there to score that point.
Graham stops and pops off the front of the rim, no good. Benting with the rebound. At 5'8", he is the shortest member of the Crusaders. He's a senior. A three for the Crusaders off the mark. McGuire with yet another rebound. 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. McGuire, nice move, takes the three off the back of the rim. And contact on the rebound attempt is against Curtis Lucas Summers. Next whistle, Joey Sala is going to be coming into the game. Or are they going to stick him in now? Joey Sala in, replacing Antoine Graham Jr. Good outside ball movement again for the Crusaders. Benting with the three off the front of the rim, no good. McGuire with yet another rebound. He's well on his way to a double-double. Over the end line, unable to catch up with it was Sala. Trying to keep up with the YouTube live comments, there's a little bit of confusion on the status of Derek Nuttall. He has recovered from the torn ACL he suffered last year. However, they're limiting his minutes to begin the season. He did play the first quarter and is currently resting on the bench. Benton called for the hit. Tommy Finera is at the line. 1 minute, 13 seconds left in the first half. 24-19, a 5-point edge for the Green Wave, who are now in a single bonus situation with 7 fouls against Carver. Trying to force it inside. Back to the outside, and a lot of one dribble passing, and the three eventually is good for Shea Grimes. 45 seconds to go, 25-22. Tommy Finera goes out to Curtis Lucas Summers, who was moving the wrong way. Now McGuire for three is good. Matt McGuire, or rather, Husky.
You can see Carver's really picking up the pace here with 23 seconds left on the clock.
Long two, no good. McGuire with yet another rebound. Goes off to Tommy Fanera. Shot clock off, 10 seconds to go. Fanera to McGuire, long three. Is good! At the buzzer, 31-22. Matt McGuire is on fire. A deep three at the buzzer. That must have been 5 feet beyond the arc. What a start, as both teams, Joe, started to catch fire there in the second quarter. The traditional 10-minute halftime break has been eliminated. There is 2 minutes on the clock. We're going to take a quick breather ourselves. We'll be back for third quarter action right after this. We're muted. Hello and welcome back into the gym on the campus of Abington High School for third quarter action between the Carver Crusaders and your Abington Green Wave. Once again, I am Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside the one, the only Joe Beaver, with the Green Wave leading by 9-10 to the second half. 31-22 is your score. Matt McGuire, 19 of the 31 points. He stands 32 away from the 1,000-point mark.
Yeah, it seems like he'll be able to hit it tomorrow if he keeps scoring at this rate. He has 19 already this game.
Usually, the first half of a season is a feeling out period. The team switch side. Vince Goulet lays it up in a timeout called as the Green Wave now working the full court press. Derek Nodal has come onto the floor to start this third quarter. Especially with all the rule changes, Joe, you really feel like Abington and Carver both in that first half spent a lot of it kind of feeling each other out, feeling out the flow of how this game is going to work, trying to adjust to the new rules, the sanitizer every time they come on and off the court.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see sometimes there's confusion, like for when players are swapping in and out of the game, like when they can and when they're allowed to, with all the different rule changes. And then even at the beginning of the game, we saw they had the wrong basket they were defending. So it's a couple hiccups so far.
The one hope with Mr. McGuire would be that he doesn't score like 30 or 31 for the rest of the way tonight, and he just has 1 or 2 left. Because then all the pressure is on. You just want to get that first basket tomorrow and find yourself just hawking it up from anywhere. Another turnover committed by the Crusaders. The defense, Joe, has been absolutely stifling.
Absolutely. I think that's been what's separating the two teams right now. A lot of pressure coming from the Green Wave makes it difficult for Carver.
Nuttall flying around the paint, unable to get a clean shot up. Carver looking for the call. McGuire comes away with the loose ball. Panera in the corner. Over to Nuttall. Nuttall spinning with it. Finds an open lane. Layup had too much on it. The Crusaders come away with it. Number 21 with the rebound, Kevin Giannetti. Stop and pop from the charity stripe is good. That's Shea Grimes, the co-captain. Tommy Fanera to Antoine Graham Jr. Derek Nuttall, top of the key, in for McGuire. Takes a 2. 3 bounces off the rim and out. The Crusaders come away with this one. Here's Grimes. Contact Young. Kibbe puts it up and in. 33-26. Graham pump fakes, gives it to Derek Nuttall, to Fanera. Hard in for Nuttall, and he is contacted in the act of shooting. He'll be at the line for 2 shots. Nuttall, no good on the second free throw attempt. Wide open 3 for Geronimo, comes up well short. Forced out. The call is in Abington's favor. Owen Kibbe was the Crusader that knocked it out. 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Antoine Graham Jr. with it for the Green Wave. Back and forth with Van Luling. Derek Nuttall gets in that. Fanera in for McGuire. McGuire steps outside the perimeter to Van Luling. Back to McGuire. 4 on the shot clock, now 3. McGuire's shot is blocked by the big man for the Crusaders, Owen Kibbe. Matt Mullins, layup no good, gets his own rebound. The putback attempt no good. McGuire with yet another rebound. Block call. You could have gone either way with that, Joe, a block or a charge.
Yeah, that was a tough call for the ref.
The ref seeing Kibbe's feet move just a little bit. He was not completely planted, thus the block call, and McGuire finds himself at the line. 19 points in the first half, yet to get on the board here in the second. Very good on his second attempt. 35-26, back to a 9-point lead for the Green Wave. The full court presses on. Geronimo able to recover before the ball finds its way out of bounds. Travel is called on Tyler Wood.
Excellent defense by the Green Wave there to smother the person in the corner who had the ball. Made it really difficult for him to get out of there.
Curtis Lucas Summers replaces Mike Van Lulen. Fanera to Summers. In for Nuttall. Derek Nuttall's layup. A lot of contact. And he draws the foul. We almost see Derek Nuttall taking the role that Cam Kearney filled so well last year. The guy in the paint fighting for all the rebounds. The guy that people are trying to get the ball to lay it up. Of course, the biggest, literally and figuratively, loss for the Green Wave, Cam Kearney. Not all 2 of 2. 37-26, 11-point edge. Not all comes away with the loose ball. It's ping-ponging around the paint. Carver has it and a stoppage. A hit is called on Curtis Lucas Summers. That is Summers' second foul committed tonight. Kibbe comes back in. He replaces Tyler Reardon, the senior 6-foot co-captain. Green Wave keeping the full court press on. Interesting strategy up 11, halfway through the third quarter. A wild layup, no good. A couple of wild putback attempts. The last one does not count. The foul was whistled before that shot was put up. The call is a hold on Tommy Fanera. One of 2 at the line is the freshman Matt Mullins. Middle to Fanera to Summers. He finds a lane to the basket, lays it up and in. Curtis Lucas Summers on the board.
That's a very explosive play by the Green Wave.
Geronimo tries the floater over Matt McGuire. McGuire comes away with the tip off of the missed shot. Now to the corner for Fanera. His 3 off the back of the rim, no good. Bounces out to Carver. Summers called for the handed push, his 3rd personal foul, 3rd team foul here in the second half. 3:39 to go. Looks as if we'll see Joey Sala coming in to replace Summers. The 3 is good for Shea Grimes. Back to a single-digit lead, 39-30 with 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Fanera down low for Nuttall. forearm. Push is called by Charlie Condon. Finera will inbound directly in front of, well, I guess the entire sideline is in front of the Green Wave bench. But right in front of the coaches section of the Green Wave bench, Finera in for Antoine Graham, back to Finera. Finera takes a long two, is good. Borderline 3, Joe, but he had his foot on the line, so it's only good for 2. Benting. And 3 is good for Shea Grimes, the senior captain. Carver trying to go shot for shot here in the second half with the Abington Green Wave.
Yeah, they seem to be really heating up in this second half.
Nuttall's floater is short. Benton comes away with the loose ball. Benton grabs it one-handed. To Grimes. Draw ever closer, Joe. 41-35. It's a 6-point edge for the Green Wave. And even 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Owen Kibbe comes away with it. To Matt Mullins. Mullins loses it to Graham. Graham has his pass blocked by Kibbe. That's sure a size advantage. And an offensive foul drawn by Antoine Graham, and that gets the Green Wave pumped up. Owen Kibbe now in deep foul trouble, Joe. That is his 4th personal foul. You want to talk about what would be a huge loss for the Crusaders in this game if the 6'4" senior co-captain ends up fouling out. Graham Jr. has too much on it.
Yeah, that'd be a devastating loss for Carver.
Especially in the rebounding department. Kibbe grabbed that last rebound attempt. This shot blocked. Summers comes away with the loose ball. One hands it up to McGuire. McGuire, 3, in and out. The Crusaders come away with it now. Charlie Condon. McCluskey is going to come back in the game. McGuire trying to come up with a steal. Finera trying to do the same. Benting to the corner for Condon. His floater is good along the baseline. 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tommy Finera bringing it up slowly but surely for the Abington Green Wave. Graham Jr. at the 3-quarter mark to McGuire. McGuire, floater off the back of the rim, tips his own rebound to Charlie Condon. Pressing it down low for Kibbe, whose shot is good. Shot clock off. 20 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Really seems like Carver found the momentum here in the second half of the game.
Believe it or not, it is now a one-possession game. 41-39, a 2-point edge for the Green Wave. Finera to Matt McGuire. 3 on the clock. McGuire takes a 3. It's going to come up short. The buzzer sounds, and the third quarter has come to an end. Advantage in that quarter, Joe, I got to give it to the Carver Crusaders. 41-39, they drew back. They were down 9 points at the half. They have drawn it back to within 2.
Yeah, that was a big comeback by Carver.
Meanwhile, as we mentioned, Owen Kibbe, the 6'4" senior co-captain of the Crusaders with 4 personal fouls. He's got to watch it.
Yeah, and the coach has to make a decision here. Does he want to reserve him for later in the game, or does he want to keep him in, risk him getting fouled out? It's a tough decision for the coach here.
And meanwhile, on the other side, if you're Coach Peter Serino, you're sending everybody in directly at him. You know where he's going to be planted. He's going to be planted firmly under the basket trying to grab rebounds. You send people trying to draw the block. 2-point lead for the defending co-state champion Abington Green Wave. 10 of the 13 Green Wave members returning from that co-championship team, including 4 of the 5 starters. Cam Kearney, the lone starter that the Green Wave lost due to graduation. Meanwhile, Joe, a compressed practice schedule as the Green Wave were not allowed to practice the last 2 weeks of December when the Abington Public Schools went full remote.
Yeah, I can't imagine how tough that is on a team, to not be able to build chemistry and get to know some of the newer players. And, I bet it's really hard for them to manage this because they kind of have to think of things on the fly. They can't practice all the plays they may have wanted to, and they really have to learn some of the stuff on the fly.
Meanwhile, announced today that our neighbors over in Whitman-Hanson have gone full remote and therefore canceled all athletic activities for the next 2 weeks. Crusaders already on the floor, ready to get the fourth quarter underway. They want to keep any and all momentum that they gained in that third quarter. Meanwhile, for the Green Wave, it's Van Luling, McGuire, McCluskey, Fanera, and Summers. Graham and Nuttall start quarter number 4 on the bench. The side of the backboard. No good. The Crusaders come away with the loose ball. Looking for the tie. The floater is good. We've got a brand new ball game, Jack. Fanera. The forearm is going to be called on Charlie Condon. Inbounding foul as the Green Wave try to regain their lead. McGuire's been quiet here in the second half. And McCluskey was fouled on his way up. An emphatic hit call from the ref called against Tyler Reardon, his third personal. McCluskey again on his first attempt. Two at the line is McCluskey, 42-41 the score, 7:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Fanera tips the block pass to Summers. He tried to force it over to McCluskey through the paint. Benton comes up with the loose ball on that one. Fourth quarter, Joe, looks like it's going to be a defensive battle. Who can prevent the most scoring opportunities?
Yeah, both teams seem to be at a bit of a stalemate as far as scoring goes.
Fanera's Derek Nuttall gets ready to come back in the game. McCluskey from the top of the key is good for a very long two, giving Abington a 3-point edge, 44-41. Abington now in a single bonus situation. Quick stop and pop, no good. Athletic keep-in is stolen by the Green Wave. Van Luling has it tipped out of his hands. McCluskey now to Fanera. Matt McGuire, wide open three. Comes up a little bit short. A block pass from McGuire finds its way to Summers. Back to McGuire. His layup is good. timeout is called by Carver, 46-41. Rather, Coach Peter Serna of the Green Wave calling that timeout.
Yeah, I wanted to see, so we noticed with soccer that certain refs are a little more strict with the COVID rules, and I'm wondering how if we'll see the same effect with the refs in basketball. Because some refs were a lot more strict during the soccer season while others weren't. So I want to see how it affects the games as the season goes on.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, Joe, because it is a very different game. Soccer, anytime there was a little bit of intentional contact, there was a stoppage. You can't really do that in the game of basketball. I mean, you can try, but this is what I would consider a full contact sport when you've got 10 guys that are, or girls for that matter, crowded into the paint trying to grab a rebound all at the same time. There's very little you can do for social distancing in basketball, at least on the court.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you.
On the court for the Green Wave, we have Fanera, McGuire, McCluskey, Antoine Graham, and Derek Nuttall. Benting as the Green Wave have a full court press. Corner three. No good. Nuttall grabs the rebound. McGuire flying in, his layup no good. Remains a 5-point lead for the Green Wave. Uno diving for the ball. It is tipped out by McGuire. Fanera forces it out. He's going to get called for the punt. McGuire has 22 points on the night. The timeout is called by the Crusaders. 5:24 to go in the fourth quarter. It remains a 5-point lead. Not a lot of scoring, Joe, here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, things have really slowed down for both teams as we went into this fourth quarter. It could be due to the exhaustion, because obviously it's a lot harder to play with a mask on than, without.
.29 points away at the current moment is Matt McGuire. Interesting switch made here as both teams are standing with the complete teams in the respective corners. Everybody is standing far apart. The other interesting fact about this preseason is that there's usually at least a couple of preseason games, and due to COVID, all of those have been canceled. So the only quote-unquote game action the Green Wave has had is that green versus white scrimmage last week. Benting a three, no good. And Lewin comes up with the rebound, gives off to Fanera. Fanera's one-handed layup, a little bit off the mark. The Crusaders come away with it. A layup, again too much on it. This one from Shake Grimes. Up and down the court they go, Joe. McGuire spinning, shot, no good off the front of the rim. Single-digit points scored for each team. Here in the fourth quarter, the kickball called against Finara. Be inbounded by Charlie Condon. And Lewin dives on it. A quote-unquote jump ball, the Green Wave will take over due to the possession error. That's the first jump ball we've seen called this game. And Luling sends it into Finara. 4.5 to go in quarter number 4. 5-point edge for the Green Wave. Antoine Graham Jr. finds a lane, lays it up, and in off the glass for Antoine Graham Jr. Full court press, the Crusaders able to block it. Finara comes over with the loose ball. Finara in for Nuttall, reverse layup is good for Derek Nuttall.
Excellent pass by the Green Wave.
And a turnover forced by the Green Wave on the inbounds attempt. Is that the exciting play, Joe, that the Green Wave needed to get back and get scoring some points?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the total momentum shift that they needed.
Very athletic move under the basket by Derek Nuttall. A three is no good. Matt McGuire with yet another rebound. I'm sure he's got at least a double-double so far tonight. Throw a couple of steals in there as well. Finara to Van Luling, no look. To the top for Derek Nuttall. Nuttall working his way in. A lot of contact and wins the call. Geronimo called for the hold. Not in the act of shooting, that was called, so a 1-and-1 shooting situation for Derek Nuttall. Around the world a couple times, but eventually falling in. 10-point lead now for the Green Wave. Two at the charity stripe is Derek Nuttall. He passed a little bit off the mark. An defensive rebound rather for Matt McGuire. Graham Jr. finds McGuire, top of the key. He launches for three, and it's off the mark. Geronimo comes away with the rebound. Shea Grimes with it, just over the half-court mark. Down low for Owen Kibbe. Kibbe with 4 fouls, has to be careful. Nuttall tipped the pass in for Kibbe. He's contacted down low. I believe Van Luling is going to get the call. Indeed, it is Mike Van Luling called for the hold down low. Kibbe going on his first attempt. 3:01 to go. It's a 10-point lead for the Green Wave. A back-and-forth game, Joe. We saw the first quarter start kind of slow. Second quarter, things heated up. Third quarter was on fire for both teams. And in the fourth quarter, there hasn't been much scoring. But a lot of good defensive plays. Van Luling with it to Derek Nuttall. Tommy Finara is the Green Wave start to play the clock game. Wait till the shot clock is near 10 seconds before they think about a shot. Finara's three is off the mark. Crusaders come away with it. Now a three attempt is no good. Offensive rebound. The layup attempt no good. On the second putback attempt is converted for Matt Mullins.
You can see the Green Wave are slowing things down, running out the clock.
Now working his way in, finds a wide open lane, lays it up and in. Timeout called by Coach Peter Serino with 2:15 left to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 10-point lead for the Abington Green Wave, 54-44 over the Carver Crusaders. Joe, what did the Green Wave have to do to maintain this 10-point lead? And on the reverse side, what does Carver have to do to claw their way back in with not a lot of time to do it?
I think the Green Wave has to run out the clock, keep the good defense they've had the whole game, and just continue to try to score when they can, but not focus on that so much, but just wasting the clock. And then for Carver, I feel like they just have to keep the momentum that they had in that third quarter and just try to score.
Well, the all-important season opener on the line here for the Abington Green Wave. Of course, you want to start the season off on a good note. A compressed season, I might add. The Green Wave right back at it here tomorrow afternoon against the East Bridgewater Vikings. We'll have that game live for you on the Abington Community Access and Media YouTube page. And available for cable viewing shortly thereafter. Meanwhile, all freshman and JV games, both boys and girls, will be broadcast live at the link you're watching on now, youtube.com/abingtoncam02351/live. Kidding. Loses possession a couple of times. Nuttall fighting for it. Nuttall's going to get called for a foul. Derek Nuttall called for his third personal foul. A little bit of confusion whether they were calling that on number 1 or number 11. There is no number 1 on the Green Wave roster. Crusaders put it up and in. That was Grimes. 8-point game, 54-46, 150 to go. Van Lulen pump fakes for a long two, gives it to Fanara. Fanara with an athletic one-handed grab to keep it in play. Derek Nuttall comes away with the loose ball. And Derek Nuttall is called for the travel. Athletic move by Derek Nuttall to prevent that inbounds pass from being completed. Carver will attempt again, but a timeout called by the Carver Crusaders. 1:41 to go. And now, Joe, we really start to see the chess match. Who's moving what pieces where? Who's got the better strategy?
I think you'll start to see Carver doing a lot more full court pressing and try to force those turnovers like the Green Wave have been doing. And I think we'll start to see Green Wave will take more time with the possession, slow things down, not let Carver get as many possessions as they would if they kept up that pace they've had the whole game.
Sticky situation for the Crusaders. They have 8 team fouls against them. Abington in a single bonus situation. Meanwhile, the Green Wave have 1 foul to give. The referees, to their credit, have been very consistent both ways. Boys freshman team will play here at Abington High School tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll have that game for you live at the link you're watching now. For all of you watching, go ahead and bookmark this link, youtube.com/Abington Abington Cam 02351/live. Every single game that takes place here in this gym will be live on this link. Green Wave playing a man defense. Finera is on Grimes. Sereno calling for the Green Wave to commit the foul. Derek Nuttall does. Now he's in a little bit of foul trouble. He's got 4. Ideally, Joe, anybody except Derek Nuttall is committing that foul. That puts the Crusaders in a 1-1 bonus situation. But on the first attempt, his own Kibbe. One or two, but an offensive board. Brought down by Matt Mullins. Kibbe, now Grimes for 3, is off the mark. The board from McGuire, he rips it away. Gives it off to Finero. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in quarter number 4. A 7-point lead for the Green Wave. McGuire to Antoine Graham Jr. And a block is called against Carver. Matt Mullins called for the foul, his second personal. Thought that might have been going against Kibbe, which of course would have forced him off the court. Graham Jr. got on his first attempt, 55-47. An 8-point lead for the Green Wave with 63 seconds to go. Two of 2 for the returning starting guard, Antoine Graham Jr. One minute to go here in quarter number 4. 56-47 your score. Green Wave leading, and Antoine Graham comes away with the steal. Up to Van Luling, over to Finera. His layup is good. Derek Nuttall was trailing there, ready to slam it in should that ball not have found the bottom of the net. Graham Jr. comes away with the pass block, wasting even more time off of the clock. Carver will inbound it. To do the honors is Tyler Reardon. Into Grimes. Grimes running a point for the Crusaders here in the final 30 seconds. A layup down low is good for Matt Mullins. Shot clock off. The Green Wave are going to waste it out. More attempt. Tommy Finera, 20 seconds to go now. It's a 9-point lead for the Green Wave. Finera to Graham. And a foul with 11.2 seconds left, and a push from Zach Geronimo. You can really hear everything that's going on here in the gym. In fact, when that foul was called, we heard a very audible "why" from somebody on our side of the court. 11.2 seconds left. I suppose it's not over until the buzzer sounds, but a 9-point lead for the Green Wave, 58-49. Graham Jr. at the free throw line for one more shot.
Yeah, it seems like things are winding down here.
Even 10-point lead. The clock starts now. 5 seconds to go. Graham comes up with the steal. The buzzer sounds, and this one has come to an end, Joey. Season opening win, a 10-point victory over division rival, the Carver Crusaders. What did you see that you liked for the Green Wave? What do you see that maybe could use some more?
I think the turnovers, that could be minimized, but overall, great game, good defensive plays by the Green Wave.
Meanwhile, the story tomorrow will be Matt McGuire. He stands 29 points away from the 1,000-point mark. The very hard to hit 1,000-point mark for his career here at Abington High School. Do you think he gets it against big rival East Bridgewater Vikings?
I don't know. I mean, he started off really hot today. If he can maintain that throughout the whole game, then I think he could easily do that tomorrow. But it depends if he heats up or not.
Player of the game for both sides. For Carver, a couple guys you could give it to. I'm going to give it to the 6'4" senior co-captain, Owen Kibbe. Kept his fouls managed after you looked up at the scoreboard and saw he had 4. But he really did a good job to mitigate that, not commit another one, and he had a very good double-double effort for the Crusaders. Meanwhile, for the Green Wave, a lot of guys you could give it to. McGuire had a beast night, 22 points, probably 35 rebounds from the way he was working the paint. You agree with those picks?
Yeah, I definitely agree with those. Solid choices.
Well, the Green Wave, 1-0 on the season, 59-49 your final score here. The Green Wave victorious against the Carver Crusaders in the season opener. We'll be right back at it tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. against the East Bridgewater Vikings. We'll see you then.